All right, academic writing. So, uh, question, thesis. Shall I begin with a question or a thesis? Right. In doing research, either you have your thesis or you have your question or you have both. Now, at the beginning, it's good to start with a question. Later on, you state your question into a claim or a thesis. But at the beginning, it's good to start with a question. In the American system, usually they start with a thesis, with a claim or an argument. It is a thesis is a one sentence, declarative sentence, and that is the research all about. And usually Americans start with that, and we are influenced here in the Philippines. But the critic of British people is that if you start with a thesis, you are already concluding, somewhat concluding. You already have a kind of conclusion, and you just defend, trying to find support. So in their case, they prefer to start with a question, the main question, and then they will just follow that question. And we can turn the question into a thesis. So the spelling is not question, but question. Right, like that. Now, this is a question I'm asking. What is your subject or topic? Last time you shared, maybe for Franco, we can share today what is his topic. And your the question for today is, what is your main question? All right. What is your main question? All right. Before writing the other questions, you have to think of the main question. And then, what is your thesis or main argument? This is the main point in relation to subject. We should not be too broad or too narrow or too vague. Right? So, in the iLearn, I posted some, let's say, video clips on topics not too narrow and not too broad, just enough. And I suggest that it should be at this time, because you are writing your research in a short time, it should be a small topic, a narrow topic, but not too narrow. You can do that in 2 months, for example. Now, this will be the activity is morning. We'll be talking about your main question. And then later on, you turn the main question into a thesis. But let me just ask first your main question. So you have now your main topic or subject, and then what is your main question in relation to the topic? Okay. We'll be learning as we go along in our sharing. And this is the lesson, right? We already tackled this one. What are my reasons and evidence? Now, if you want to be question-centered, break down your main questions into sub-questions. So you have your main question. Later on, you break that into sub-questions. We'll be learning more on that. So aside from the main question, you have the smaller questions, sub-questions. If you want to be thesis-centered, state your reason or evidence to support your thesis, like making a 3-point outline or 4-point outline to support your main argument. If you want to mix your thesis with your questions, you can start with your main argument and then state your sub-questions. Now, these are different formats, but maybe we will focus on this, the mixed one. You have your thesis and then your questions. But as I said, you can do at least 3 ways in designing your questions or theses. All right, that will be the assignment. But let us go back to our communication activity, your main question. Now, let me illustrate first the sub-questions. Uh, if you buy a pizza, even though it is solo pizza, you say it's small, but you don't just eat the whole pizza, right? You don't just eat the whole. What you need to do is to cut into smaller pieces. Then you eat one piece, and then another piece, and then another piece, and then another piece. So you break the pizza into smaller pieces. In doing research, you have the main question, a big question, and then you break that big question into smaller questions. And then you start answering those questions later on, step by step, right? So we start with the big question. But before that, if you have some questions or clarifications in what I just presented, please speak or raise your hand if you have some questions or clarifications. Right? Otherwise, if not, I like that you design your main question. Just one question. Just one big question in relation to your topic first. Right? If you can write one question, the main question of your research, what is that? Now, I'd like to request Frank Paul to share first his topic. He's thinking.
Okay po. Basically, what I'd like to do as part of the research is to do a descriptive and persuasive approach in trying to see yung approach po ng specifically the Southern Baptist pastors, because that's where that's my denomination. I'd like to see what approach do our churches are using in terms of counseling and helping people. Because particularly according to our SBC statement, the Baptist Faith and Message, that we see that the Word of God is a sufficient what's this resource for all life. So I'd like to explore, do SB pastors believe really in the sufficiency and authority of Scripture in terms of counseling people? So basically, that's our my thoughts. So, but I'm also thinking if I should narrow it down to seasoned pastors or the younger pastors at this time. But then I'm leaning now towards, I think it's better to have uh, uh, a good approach to really sit down with few pastors, seasoned pastors, because we know that they are the ones who are actually running the church at this time. So somehow they have the command, and in terms of counseling, they have the say in some way.
You're thinking of this Southern Baptist approach to counseling.
Counseling, yes.
All right, and you are asking if, all right, how they do
Yes.
counseling.
Hmm.
So if you're going to state your main question, how do the Southern Baptist Convention uh, do counseling in the church?
Opo.
Uh, and then, but you stated that you already have in your document.
Hmm. Yeah, it's basically the Baptist faith and message, and the thing is, I'd like to explore more if that is practically applied in the local church, and how is it really helping, and somehow in contrast with biblical counseling, because biblical counseling actually is not a somehow I would say it's not a popular approach in terms of helping people. So I would say that it's more integrationist, and so that's why I'd like also to do a persuasive approach in providing a case that it will be faithful not only to the Baptist faith and message but also to the scriptures that we basically use and apply the approach of the sufficiency of scripture in counseling.
So in my hearing, you're interested of like the applicability, how is the approach applied.
Mhm.
So you try to find out how it is being applied
Mhm.
and how it is helping people,
Yep.
which means that you'll be um, doing some interview or survey if there are some helps through your approach.
Mhm.
All right, so maybe you can think of a very good question, maybe how, or as your main question in that aspect in relation with the application. So
Mhm.
maybe you can try to write down uh, a big question, how,
Okay.
your research. Right, thank you very much, Franco. And I think last time, Sister, is it Pina? Just Fina? Sabet? Are you there, Sabet?
Yes,
Uh, last time, did you, uh,
yes, I'm here.
yeah, did you give some questions last time in your research?
Last time I was talking for education. I gave I gave my main topic the last time, sir.
Yes. Did you also mention your questions last time? No.
Not yet, sir.
Not
I
yet.
can I can and tell them today.
All right. Okay. Uh,
So
uh, I'm asking the main, one big question, just like how, why, in relation to your topic. If you're going to ask a big question, what is that?
yes, sir. Can I first, because I gave you a different title the last time.
Uh,
Could I just give you my main topic, sir? I made it more specific
all right.
after reading on topic. My topic is hikikomori, developing a biblical perspective of its causes and interventions from success stories of Christian missions in Japan.
Great.
So I hope that's more specific. And my main question is first to explore what is hikikomori as a Japanese culture-bound phenomenon. So I'd like to describe hikikomori first as a Japanese phenomenon, and then from there, develop look into success stories and see how biblical perspective is entered in the interventions or not in the interventions of hikikomori. So my main question, sir, will be asking about what is hikikomori as a Japanese culture-bound phenomenon.
Question will be one of the sub-questions. What you just mentioned, how uh,
my main aim is to develop a biblical perspective of its causes and interventions. So probably
all right, so
develop a question, right? Develop a question from there. So what is the biblical perspective of the causes and interventions of hikikomori?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So that will be your main question.
Okay, sir.
Topic. All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So we'll go later to the sub-questions, but I think you have one sub-question. All right, any of you who want to share their main question in relation to the topic? Let me ask Floor. Yeah, I can see Floor here. All right. Can you unmute? Yes. All right.
Yes, sir. Sir, as I mentioned last meeting, my topic is about civil partnership. So the main question that popped up in my mind is marriage and civil partnership the same?
Yes. All right. So that is a very big question and good question. So I think you can just stick with that as your main question. So civil union, marriage, are they the same? All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Now, who else? Reka, are you there?
Yes, sir, I'm here. Yeah.
Right. So, what's your topic again?
The gist of my topic is basically yung the attraction of the attraction of the leftist ideologies of the young people, especially in the Christian community.
The millennials?
Basically, my topic will be gospel and the leftist ideologies. Ang main question ko, sir, which will be which of the two has the restorative call this which is more restorative dun sa sa dalawang anong yon when it comes to trying to
I think I get your point.
government.
The
Sorry na napuputol yata ako, sir. Sorry po. Yes po.
in a way, you are trying to compare the ideology of the leftists and then the ideology of the gospel.
Yes po. So which will
You can define ideology as broad. So you can in say it means idea. So the idea of the leftists, the idea of
yes.
The gospel. You are trying to compare in the area of is it social restoration? Is it the personal restoration? Is it what?
Concerning the system of in the government, sir.
So trying to restore what? If it is restoration, what is that?
The order in the government, basically, because um and the reason why I'll be researching for this one, because I I happen to know a lot of young people in the Christian community who's into uh the who's into the uh political conversation, and uh most of their arguments, you know, are evidently uh coming from the leftist ideologies. So I'd like to compare, I'd like to compare the leftist ideologies and also the gospel idea.
All right, so maybe you can just ask like what are the similarities and differences
Yes po, opo.
to
Yes po.
in terms of maybe just as broad as that first, you know,
Yes po, opo. Ganun po muna.
differences,
Mm. Mm.
and then out of that maybe you can see the what you are trying to find out what is more effective
Yes.
in social transformation.
Yes, po, yun.
So with regards to social transformation
Yes po.
in society or socio-political transformation.
Yes po. Writing it down. Yes po. So,
Maybe you try to think more on that. How about
opo.
James? James, what's your topic and your main question?
Hello, sir. Good morning. Sa akin naman po, personally, I think this is a little broad for me as I am trying to think of the question. But basically, the pastors or the Filipino pastors, unconscious influence towards the congregation they're leading. Uh, I, I, uh, I got this idea, the topic itself. I got the idea because there's a lot of things being said about what they are trying to do. Some pastors what they're trying to do, like for example, they're leading the congregation, preaching the gospel, preaching the Bible and such, uh, expositionally stuff like that. And my idea is what happens with what they're unconscious with, how they act, how they lead, is affecting how that their history, their manner of words, the things that they're unconscious of, and how they're leading or how they're influencing the congregation that they are leading. And as I'm thinking of it, I was thinking of this, sir, since Thursday, and I was reading some books, and honestly, I think it's a little broad. I'm trying to still uh, maybe go for a little to be more precise, but I am open to critique and open to change the research idea if it cannot, or I don't know if it can be minimized. But yeah, that's the idea basically, that how unconsciously is the pastor leading, or the unconscious traits of the leader in the church affecting or influencing the congregation they are specifically leading in their context. Like how are they influencing them with the things that they're not intentionally doing to lead. Like for example, the way they live, the way they speak, the manner of language, their tone, brevity, their that's it. That's the idea that I'm trying to communicate. But I'm not sure if it's too broad still, or yeah. But
So
that's it.
if I'm right, for
Yes,
example,
sir.
you're thinking of the effect of the personal background of
Yes, sir.
leaders in his or
Yes,
her leadership styles, something like
yes.
that.
Their behavior, their because I got this idea because I have friends like Pastor Franco. And one of my classmates here also is a pastor, Pastor Jason. And there are different personalities. There are different, not just in pulpit leading or counseling, but the way they live out their life and how they affect those they lead, how they affect those they shepherd. So I'm thinking about that, but as I'm reading, I was listening to the video lectures that you shared in I Learn, and I'm afraid that it's too broad. So I wanted to open this up to you then, because I wanted to hear if it is, I want to change the as early as possible to change the if need be, if need be, sir.
So you are thinking of the pastor as a leader.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So his or her personal background could have
Yes, sir.
affected his leadership in the way he speaks and behaves.
Yes, the how he speaks and behaves, how that affects the congregation, how that influences the congregation. Like for example, if a pastor is quick-tempered, how does that affect those who are mild-mannered in the congregation?
All
Does
right.
that change their does that mean, like for example, if the pastor, like for me, I'm an extrovert. Um, how is my extrovertedness affecting those who are more introverted, more shy, more timid in the congregation that I lead? Because it's not only for the sake of this. It's actually a thing that I'm trying to understand as I lead my personal congregation. It's not only for this. It's something that actually I'm going to practice in leading the church that the Lord has given me. So.
So, if I may ask the question, how do the personality and leadership style of the pastor affect the congregation in terms of their um, personality also, maybe?
Yes, something like that. That's why I'm struggling, sir. Kasi I could actually change it kasi I think it's really broad. But yeah, like for example, we have some congregants that I know some friends of mine that have their and when I say congregants, I mean those who are in church membership, those who are committed to the church, like those who are around the pastor and have fellowship under discipleship with that pastor. So, like for example, they're speaking, and the pastor is ill-tempered sometimes, or the pastor makes a lot of jokes, and those people that don't that those are more that that a significant amount of time spending with that pastor. Like for example, a mild-mannered a person or someone that is a very serious person, then loosens up, starts to make jokes also, stuff like that. Like the personality is changing unintentionally because of the character of the pastor. If you understand, I don't know if I'm
Yeah,
getting through.
yeah, I think it rings in my case because I was influenced by my pastor,
Yes, yes,
introvert,
sir.
but my pastor was extrovert, so he was able to help in cracking the shells in me, so I can come
Yes,
out of myself. So I think you're asking of the impact of the personality of the pastor to the personality of the congregation.
oh yeah, yeah, you yeah, I think that's it. I think yeah,
From
yeah.
personality to personality. So maybe you can focus on that. The
All right, sir.
impact of the personality of the pastor to the personality of the congregations.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So is there an impact, or are there or how does the personality of the pastor impact the congregation, or you can develop a question out of that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, sir.
All right, how about Karen? Are you there?
Hi, sir.
Hi,
Good morning po.
morning.
Sir, Uh, sir, I'm actually thinking of making a study. But sir, I'm not sure if this is too broad or too narrow po yung topic ko. I'm thinking of making a study for the youth ages 14 to 21 in our church on how they view church. So the reason why I chose this study is because I am part of the ministries that involves this ages po, and gusto ko po sanang yung study ko po could be relevant and of help to our church when it comes to creating programs and activities that could help these youth grow into faith po. Also, sir, tinitignan ko rin po kasi kung saan po pwede pumasok din yung counseling. For example lang po, sir, that person is actively serving the ministry and commits sin, especially sin that could affect their future. For example, sir, yung falling into sexual sin, kung paano po ba yung magiging role ng church when it comes to restoration?
All right, so I think a very good topic, restoring the fallen youth, for example, restoring fallen youth. So in our tradition, of course, we have this ministry of restoration.
Mhm.
So maybe you can ask a question in relation to that. Uh,
Mhm.
in your church, was there an example of restoring a fallen youth?
Sir, I'm sorry, sir.
In your church, was there an example of restoring a fallen youth?
Meron naman, sir, meron po. May dinidil po ngayon yung church namin. May isa po kasi kaming youth, sir, na nag-fall into sin. So, I think yung mga pastor po yung nagdi-deal sa kanya ngayon. So, siguro, sir, gusto ko lang rin malaman kung, for example, sir, naka-graduate po ako ng biblical counseling, tapos magiging part po ako ng restoration group. Kung parang ganun, sir.
Yes. So maybe, of course, meron tayong basis, biblical basis, and then why we restore. Uh, Maybe your main question is how to restore a fallen youth,
Mm-hmm.
because actually it starts with discipline. So that is in relation to discipline. So maybe you need to ask a question: how to restore a fallen youth or a youth
Okay.
committed sin in the church.
Okay, sir.
All right, we'll see more, but thank
Thank you,
you for
sir.
sharing. And we also like to hear from Nara. Please unmute.
Hello po, sir.
Hello, hi.
My main topic is nagtanong din po ako sa inyo. Yung main topic ko po ay from day depression, ginawa ko na po siyang spiritual depression.
Yes.
Yung nabasa ko din po briefly yung book na reference ko po, and then I think pwede po siyang i-focus sa yung question na what is its cause. And then po yung interesting part po is yung kinuha ko po yung references sa Bible, yung mga Bible characters like Elijah, how they deal with it. Ganun po. Tapos meron din po siyang parang end ng kung ano mangyayari na end ng spiritual depression after they recover or na-overcome nila. Gano'n. So, ayun din po. Isa pang sub-question din po na gagawin ko sana for, like a reference dun sa paper.
So you'll be asking like, what are the causes and
like its cure, and then like what happens once they overcome, o kaya once they were not able to overcome in that.
so what are the causes and cure of spiritual depression, something like that,
Yes po.
right? Uh, you. How about the other one, Camille?
I've come up on a topic that I can relate to also. It's about the unbeliever parents.
Can you speak louder?
Sorry. I I've come up with the topic of unbeliever parents.
Yes.
Unbeliever parents because I could relate to that because my father is unbeliever, and one of my prayer requests for a lot of years is to evangelize him, and I think this is a good topic. And the subtopics or the sub question that I was thinking about is the positive and negative impact of unbeliever parents to the youth, because we in our local church we also have a lot of cases like this that the children was first evangelized or converted into Christianity before their parents. So there are success stories and there are failed as well. So I think um, yes, I will have a summative research or descriptive one on the positive and negative impact
All right. So you will focus on the ministry among the children
among the
and the impact to their parents, something like that.
users.
So maybe you can ask the broad question on the impact of children's ministry among unbelieving parents, something like that.
Yes.
So you will be asking a question. Now you have ministry among children whose parents are non-believers, and then you are finding success stories on like the impact, and some parents are being evangelized, others are not. Okay, so maybe you can ask on the effect or the impact of children's ministry upon the unbelieving parents. All right. How about June?
Hi, sir. Good morning po. Sir. The last time that we have a discussion, I mentioned that I want to have a research regarding to the post-teenage life of Christians. So I come up with a topic right now, but I'm still not sure if it's quite too broad or narrow. But somehow I've come up with this, like what are the different factors that greatly affects the spiritual life of post teenage Christians, and I've added some questions on after I've uh, identified those factors or how they can cope up with them, something like that. So I want to identify those factors that greatly affects the spiritual life of those post-teenage Christians and find the answers on how they can cope up with them, especially applying the biblical counseling that we are studying right now. That's
All right. So if I get, you are asking like how biblical counseling um, how biblical counseling uh, or Is biblical counseling effective among postings in in uh, in relation to their challenges, something like that?
Yes, sir.
So you are focusing on biblical counseling and
Yes, sir.
activity or the effect upon these post-teenagers in the church
Yes, sir. So
in view
parang
of their challenges.
yes, sir. I'm thinking that I want to identify those different challenges that they are facing and how can these challenges be answered through biblical counseling.
Thank you.
So, sir,
All right, Bert, you're there?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Your question is.
My question is there any significance in dealing with depression in a biblical context?
Is there a?
Is there any significance in dealing with depression in a biblical context?
Can you repeat? Is there a?
Ganito, sir. Is there is there any significance in dealing with depression in a biblical context?
What do you mean by significance there?
Significance or like importance?
Uh-huh.
Parang ano sir, yung
you want to do a research on depression, and so
yeah, yes,
maybe
sir.
you are asking what the Bible says about depression, is it?
Because what I'm thinking is that uh, ano to kasi sa ngayon kasi sir, the common is yung clinical counseling. So I would like to find out the, for example, the effects of it in a person's life.
So maybe you will be asking the question: How is biblical counseling effective to uh, depressed Christians?
Yes, not necessarily in a Christian setting or maybe in outside or in and outside the church. So,
You focus on Christians because biblical counseling is only effective among Christians. If they are not Christians, we need to evangelize them first. That's according to Wayne, the founder of
mm,
OIC. So uh, you do biblical counseling, particularly among Christians. You apply the Bible to them. If they are not believers, if they are not Christians, then you evangelize them first.
mm, because what actually, so what I was thinking was that those, for example, the counselors in, for example, in a Christian counselor in a private or public school, so if it would be possible in that setting.
Biblical counseling has different paradigms, so it is applicable only among Christians. Um, this is actually counseling in the church. Biblical counseling is counseling in the church.
Yeah.
So you focus on uh, uh, the effect of biblical counseling among depressed Christians. So how can biblical counseling be effective to depressed Christians? All right.
Yeah. So I would like to ask a question, sir. So would it be right term na ano yung sinabi ni sir, a depressed Christian or
Depressed, depressed
depressed
Christian.
Christian?
Yes. Or Christians undergoing depression.
Uh,
Right. So it should be clear to MABC students that biblical counseling, particularly, is for counseling within the context of the church.
yeah, yeah, sir. Thank you.
All right. How about Carl Francisco?
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Morning.
So, primarily, I would like to tackle a question on my research, the particular significance of providing a biblical counseling or therapy for the angus or for the cases of anxiety and depression among uh, grade school and secondary students in public school, sir.
So how
So my prime question is, how would be able to provide contextualized and relevant counseling therapy, it's biblical counseling therapy for those who are students who are suffering from anxiety and depression.
so how to provide contextualized and biblical counseling to uh, students undergoing depression or anxiety, right? So uh,
Hello, sir.
I think you can pursue with that. That's clear enough. Now, as I said a while ago, when you write your question, you can start with a question, and I have my paper as an example, although it's not counseling. Where is it? Right, let me show my two papers. In this paper, if you see, immediately I ask the main question.
Hello, sir. Sir, I can't hear you. Please try to transfer a device.
Hello, can you hear?
Yes, sir.
How about the screen?
So this time, sir, it's better, sir.
All right. So this is my paper. I want to show uh, that even at the beginning, I just stated my main question. This is question based style, like the question that I desire to discuss in this paper is as follows. How can John 10:14 to 16 be understood in relation to the communion of saints, with special reference to the confessions and ecumenical experiences of the Presbyterians in the Philippines? So I already have my main question asked, and this is one style. As early as the beginning, my first sentence. Now, I presented this paper in Sabah, Malaysia, and hoping that it will be published. Uh, it's a, they collect our presentations for publication. And this is another one I'm working, another paper. I'm working with Langham for publication. The title of the book is Ama Namin. And then we'll be talking about uh, evangelical faith. I forgot the title, but we base our discussion on the Ama Namin or Our Father. And my section is on temptation and evil in the Lord's Prayer, with special reference to public engagement in the Philippines. You see, when I started my paper, I did not start with a question, right? I started my question in the second paragraph. Thus, the question is pursued. How might Matthew's presentation of temptation and evil, especially in the Lord's Prayer, be received or has been received in the Philippines, with special reference to public engagement? So, uh, whether you started the first sentence or the second paragraph, you have your main question. But maybe in our style, uh, we will have the main thesis. I want you to state your main thesis, and then later on, you have your main questions divided sub questions. But we already started with the main question, right? Now, the main thesis is, for example, you can turn your main question into your thesis or main claim. You don't state in the question, you just state in the declarative sentence. That becomes your main claim, right? So you have your question, and then you change your question into a declarative sentence, then it is your thesis that you are going to defend. All right? So you can see the difference. You can start with a question, or you can just change the question into a declarative sentence and support it. Okay, let me ask, for example, uh, floor, floor. It's easier illustration. Floor. Can you state again your question?
My main question, sir, is marriage and civil partnership the same?
All right. And for example, in your thinking, what is your hypothesis? Is it the same or not the same?
Actually, sir, this is my dilemma, because if we will be talking about the legality, or if civil partnership is purely a legal issue, then the answer may be they are not the same. Purely legal. If civil partnership is a purely legal issue or purely contractual commitment, then we can conclude, or it is safe to say, or safe to conclude, that marriage and civil partnership are not the same. However, if we will consider the biblical perspective, the definition, the how God defined marriage vis-a-vis civil partnership, then we can say that they are the same. Actually, that's the main reason why I'm so interested with this topic, because um, not only our lawmakers, but even some churches or some Christians, especially like me, Christian lawyers, divided din kami, sir. Kasi if we will check the Civil Partnership Act, the pending bill right now before the Congress, if we will examine the provisions, it's almost the same with the family code. However, nagkakaroon sila ng demarcation line eh. Parang this is civil partnership is more on um, freedom to associate. I mean, wala siyang sacramental or any religious attachment doon sa civil partnership. However, as Christian, alam mo na hindi lang siya purely legal, because it has something to do with relationship din. We're not just talking about here purely contractual obligation between the the civil partners. Kasi parang yun sir yung parang debate ngayon eh, na kaya I'm also trying, because if I will analyze the provision of the bill and as the definition of civil partnership as general, pwede ako ma-convince as a lawyer. Pwede ako ma-convince as a lawyer na yes, civil partnership is not the same with marriage. However, because I'm a Christian, I know for the fact na somehow the same pa rin siya. Kasi for instance, sir, sa civil partnership, this is not just civil partnerships are available to both opposite sex partners and same sex partners. So meaning to say, according to the proponents of this bill, it is not correct to say that civil partnership bill is totally 100% equivalent to same-sex marriage. Because the said act is also available to opposite sex couples. I mean, halimbawa, ayaw lang natin magpakasal. Ayoko lang magpakasal. So parang nagkakaroon ng totally separation. In fact, sa ibang bansa, although I'm still researching on this, like sa UK, hindi pareho ang marriage and civil partnership sa kanila. So parang ako, yun yung gusto kong malaman as Christian. Mako-convince ba ako dun sa sinasabi nila na marriage and civil partnership are not the same? But if we will examine the definition or ano ba yung real intention, paano ba dinesign ng Diyos yung marriage? Na i-compare natin sa civil partnership, I know na somehow para siyang pseudo marriage. Pero that's the dilemma ngayon ng ano, bakit until now pending yung bill. And I was surprised that even some Christian medyo ano rin in favor din. There are some Christians din na favor dito sa civil partnership bill. So parang ako, kaya din ako interested to really research on this matter. Kasi before parang as Christian, yes, we don't agree with same-sex marriage, pero if we will examine the Civil Partnership Act, hindi lang siya applicable sa same-sex marriage, sir. So that's the reason why I'm so interested talaga to research on this topic.
All right, thank you very much. So we can see how complicated is the issue. But let's say, for example, that as easily you can say, for example, I know a lawyer who posted in his Facebook that they're not the same. All right, as easy as that. So if that is, for example, that is the direction of your research, that they are not the same, your thesis will be like civil union is different from marriage. That's the thesis. Or if your argument goes another way, you can say civil union is the same with civil and with marriage. Now, you need to defend now your thesis or your argument. So, because your question is a civil union the same with same-sex marriage? All right. Let's say your answer is no. And so your argument, your thesis will be, all right, same-sex or union civil union is civil union. Okay, you about same-sex marriage. Civil union is different from same-sex marriage. That can be your thesis. Or civil union is different from same-sex marriage, or civil union is the same with same-sex marriage. You can opt, you can choose between the two, and then that is the one that you are going to defend. Of course, you try to present the other one, but at the end you try to defend strongly what you uh, what your research has directed you.
Yes, sir.
That is a complicated issue, but we are using it as an illustration that your question, if you turn it into a declarative sentence, that is your thesis. That's why it's good that the floor brought up the complication of her research. At the beginning, it's difficult to say yes or no. So it's good that her question is just like that. Is it the same or different? Then this question will guide her in her research as she goes along. When she finished all her research, she can state confidently the, the argument or the thesis in the form of declarative sentence at the beginning, and then argue, present his argument. All right, let's see another. Flora, are you going to say no more? All right, okay. Another example. All right, maybe what we will do now for seat work to save time, and then we're going to share mamaya. You are going to turn, for example, you are already convinced of one side. For example, in the case of floor, you just state your question into a declarative sentence. That makes your let's say thesis or claim, main claim. Okay, so for example, Franco, Carl, you have your main question, you turn that into a declarative sentence, right? So we are going to share by and by. So all of you, please try to convert your question into a claim, a declarative sentence. That becomes your main claim or main thesis. Right, so that's one. Another is, as I said a while ago, you try to break your main question into sub-questions. Okay, as I illustrated, you don't eat a pizza as a whole. You try to divide first. So in research, that's what you do now. You start to divide your main question into sub-questions, and then try to answer the sub-questions slowly. Right? So at least three or two to four questions. You try to divide your main question, and that will be our sit work. And at the same time, let's have a break, and then we will return back. Let's return back by after 20 minutes. So 25, 45. All right, 10:45. Let's return back.
Leave meeting guys, sir. Leave muna or stay lang.
Yeah, you work your sit work, and then do anything you want to do. You go to the toilet, you drink water, you eat your snack, and then you come back at 10:45. As is like this.
Sige po.
Sir, can I ask a question? Sir, can I ask a question?
Hello? Yes?
No, sir. Just wanted to ask if yung later pong klase, yung 2 to 5, sa ano po yun ba, panibagong batch or tayo pa din?
Tayo pa din.
Okay po. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Ah, right, let's start with your main question turned into thesis, and then we'll see. Maybe we'll start with that first. James, if you're going to state your main question into the thesis, what is that? Can you unmute your, yes.
Yes, sir. The research statement is the pastor's personality or the pastor's unconscious personality influence over his over the personality of his congregation. Yan po.
Right, so the personality of the pastor, whether
Yes.
conscious or unconscious, affects the personality of the congregation.
Yes, sir.
So that is your hypothesis, or let's say your thesis.
Yes, sir.
You have to think of that as you go on with your thesis. You need
Yes,
to
sir.
argue on that, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We already talked about floor, and so how about Carl?
My title, I tried to develop it's an online biblical counseling
Uh,
grade
can you
school
speak
and
louder?
students. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Is this better, sir?
Yes.
Sir, sir, my again, I developed my title into is an online biblical counseling to grade school and secondary students who are suffering from depression and anxiety therapeutic. Now, my thesis or my argument, declarative form is the online biblical counseling to grade school and high school students who are suffering from depression and anxiety is therapeutic.
Uh, can you state again?
Okay, sir, my declarative sentence, my thesis is the online biblical counseling or an online biblical counseling to grade school and high school students who are suffering from depression and anxiety is therapeutic. So that's my hypothesis, sir.
Right. So you're claiming that online biblical counseling is therapeutic.
Yes, sir.
Therapeutic, yes. So you have to argue on that, meaning you think that that is your line of research, that biblical counseling among children or youth is therapeutic. All right.
Yes, sir.
How
Thank you,
about
sir.
Nara? Mm. Reader Nara? Not yet. How about Karen? Okay, Nara, yes, Nara. I can see.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Po, kakabalik ko lang po. Ano po yun?
We are now asking your main argument or main thesis. You change your main question into a declarative sentence.
Ah, yung ano po, yung change question to the claim. Yung sa akin po, ano, wala po akong naisip na breakdown po eh. Ganun pa din po yung sa akin.
Yung ano yung main question mo?
Yung Yung ano po, what is its cause? Yung what is the cause of spiritual depression po?
What is the cause and cure? The causes and cure.
Yes. Yun po yun.
So maybe as if you are going to turn that into a declarative sentence, what is that? Not a question, just a simple declarative sentence.
The cause and cure for spiritual depression, ano po?
Yes. So if you're going to make a sentence out of that question.
Identifying
Paano?
Identifying the cause and cure for spiritual depression.
Yeah, it's not yet a sentence. There are different, like if you do go that way, identifying the causes and cure of spiritual depression is possible. Okay, that is a sentence. Or there are causes and cure of spiritual depression. So meaning you are stating that there are causes and there are cures also of spiritual depression. Meaning that is your thesis or hypothesis that you need to prove. All right?
Yun na lang din po sa akin, sir. Process and cure.
Huh?
Process and cure for spiritual depression na lang po.
The process.
Opo. Process and cure for spiritual depression.
Oh, when you say process, what is that?
Yung paano nakuha yung spiritual depression, yung parang pinaka-cause po.
Eh, mas maganda yung cause na lang para mas malinaw. What are the causes and cure?
Okay po.
And your claim or thesis is that there are causes and cure of spiritual depression. Right?
Okay. Thank you po, sir.
Si Karen.
Hi, sir.
Hello. What's your main question?
Sir, ano pa lang to Just tentative pa lang po ito.
Okay.
Sir, I think I would go for the question that you suggested a while ago, sir, yung how to restore the fallen youth committed sin in the church. And I think, sir, yung pwede ko maging declarative statement for this is restoring fallen youth, a study on restoring youth committed sin in the church.
That is a title, pero a sentence with a verb.
Okay. Sir, medyo wala pa kasi ako maisip, sir. Sorry.
Yung question na yon na how, tanggalin mo lang yung question. State it in a declarative sentence. Yung walang patanong. Paano?
Sir, pwede ba restoring fallen youth committed sin in the church?
Wala pa rin siyang verb. Okay, you can just...
Sir, can I get back to you po?
Sige
po. Mag-isipin ko lang po.
You can just say like a fallen youth can be restored. Fallen young people in the church can be restored. Okay, that is a sentence. Or there are ways and means to restore a fallen youth in the church. So, naging declarative. All right?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Si Tina, Isabel. Isabel.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
Can you change
you
your
hear me.
question into a declarative sentence?
Yes, sir. The main question I asked earlier is, what is the biblical counseling perspective on hikikomori? And my main thesis will be, there is a biblical counseling perspective on the causes of and interventions for hikikomori cases in Japan based on the three trees model from Jeremiah 17:5-8.
All right. Your main question is like, what are the
What is
what are
what
the
is
causes?
the bibli
What
what
are the
is the
causes?
biblical, yes sir,
What
what
are
are
the
the
causes and interventions?
what is the biblical counseling perspective on the causes and interventions for hikikomori in Japan?
All right. Okay. So what's the
Yes,
biblical
sir.
counseling? All right.
So the main thesis now is there is a biblical counseling perspective on the causes of and interventions for hikikomori cases in Japan based on the three trees model from Jeremiah 17:5-8.
All right. So that will be your basis, Jeremiah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. How about Franco? Are you there, Franco?
Yes, sir. I'm here po.
All right. Can you change your main question into a declarative sentence?
Sir, as we are talking, ano to? Here's my new question for my ano to, like research I'd like to do. How does biblical counseling help and shape the counseling approach of Southern Baptist? Uh, okay, hold on. How does biblical counseling help and shape the counseling approach of Southern Baptist churches?
All right.
Okay, then the sentence would be, the declarative would be, the urgent need for biblical counseling in the Southern Baptist local churches.
There is an urgent need. Can you state again your main question? What are they? How?
How does biblical counseling help and shape the counseling approach of Southern Baptist churches?
So you are asking the question how? So it is not need, all right? So the argument is not on the urgent need,
Or should I ask, why is biblical counseling an urgent need for Southern Baptist local churches in
yes.
terms of counseling? Okay, sige po.
Yeah,
So that's a good ano po, question. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So
Okay.
what are the
Sige
needs?
po.
There's an urgent need. All right.
Yeah, opo. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
How about Carmela? Or Carmel? Yes. Morning. Yes. I cannot hear. Hello. Yes.
How about this, sir?
Yes. Right.
How
Okay.
about this?
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So I wasn't able to share my my topic.
Yes.
I'll share it. So um I want to explore on the topic about pre-conversion counseling for an atheist. Pre-conversion counseling for an atheist, because we know that biblical counseling is for Christians. That's why I use the the pre-conversion counseling for an atheist. So
Great.
my main question would be how to counsel an atheist who wants to experience a moral change.
All
So
right.
how to counsel an atheist who wants to experience a moral change. And my declarative statement would be God and his word are the only source for true moral change. Uh, God and his word are the only source of true moral change for an atheist.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. So you have to defend that one. God and
Yeah.
His source. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kamel. Now, Jonathan, you are there.
Sir, sir.
All right.
Sorry, I'm late because I have a problem in my Google account.
All right.
So that's why I'm late.
So
Sir,
we
can
are
you hear me?
our question. So what's your topic and your main question? And if you state your main question into a declarative sentence.
Sir, my topic is all about the values formation of police officer. Entitled Research and Police Officer Values Formation in connection for their current issues or current trends. It is right, sir? Sir, can you hear me?
Oh yes. Can you ask a question? Your main question.
My question is all about the process of my research. It is only chapter 1 to 3 only.
Yeah. What I'm asking is that so you are going to do a research, and what is your main question in your research that will guide you in your research?
Sir, I have no question yet, sir, now, because I have a problem in my connection in Island, in Jumalig. That's why I'm here in Pagbilao now, because the internet connection here is very good.
Okay.
Unlike in Jumalig.
Anyhow, we can help you in forming your main question, so we can proceed. So, uh, what are you interested to do to research? It's about values formation for the policeman.
Police officer, sir. Police officer.
Police officers. So,
or PNP, many uniform. Yeah.
So maybe,
yes, sir.
I'm asking the question: is the values formation among police officers in the Philippines, or how effective is the values formation program in the Philippines among police officers?
Okay, sir. How it's effective?
How effective
How
is
effective?
the values formation?
The values formation
among police officers in the Philippines.
Among police. Yes, sir. Copy, sir.
So, no, values formation program. Because there is a values formation program in the Philippines, I think initiated by
Fidel Ramos, I think.
The sister of Fidel Ramos.
Yeah. It is an executive number.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So from that on, up to this time, you see how long already from the time of Ramos and then Pinoy and now Duterte. So try to see if there is impact or effect of this values formation.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
How effective? How effective is the values formation program among police officers in the Philippines? Maybe it's effective among not officers. I don't know among officers. So something like that. You are focusing on the officers,
Yes, sir.
right? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you po. Thank you.
If you are going to turn that into a declarative sentence, that question, that becomes your hypothesis or thesis or main claim. So
Yes,
if
sir.
you turn that into a declarative sentence, what is that?
Darating.
Just remove the question. State it in a simple sentence with a verb without the question.
Yes, sir. How many questions, sir?
Now I'm just
It is three question or only one?
no, the main question is one. There's a main question. Later on,
One, yeah.
You can break that into at least 3 or 2 or 4.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to present now is that your main question can turn into an argument or a claim or a thesis.
Yes, sir.
So can you change your main question into a sentence, a declarative sentence?
Okay, sir. Okay. You mean, sir, it is 3 declarative sentences?
Only one.
Only one.
We just constructed one question. Our main question that we have constructed is this: how effective is the values formation program among police officers in the Philippines?
Yes, sir.
Can you turn that into a declarative sentence? Tanggalin mo lang yung question. Gawa ka ng isang sentence na walang question.
Okay po, opo.
Ngayon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now?
Yes.
Okay. It is the effective of values formation in the Philippines in the program among the police officer in the Philippines. It is one, sir. The effectiveness.
Yeah. So,
or the effect.
Now, ang sentence mo, pwede mong sabihin na yung declarative sentence, yung claim or thesis, pwede mong sabihin, and you turn your question into declarative sentence like this. The values formation program among police officers in the Philippines is effective.
Okay, it is a simple sentence. Thank you, sir.
All right. So kung yan yung claim mo, or if that is your thesis, you have to defend it. Okay, nasa isip mo yan. Yun yung gusto mo i-defend. Or
yes, sir.
Pursue na effective. Or baka bandang huli, nakita mo hindi naman talaga pala effective. All right, and you have to be open with that. So that's why, as I said a while ago, we started a question. But in this exercise, we are trying to see, the relationship of the main question and the thesis or the claim. The main claim, the main thesis or hypothesis. All right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go to another. How about...
Sir, chapi-chapi, sir?
How about Bert? Bert Adonis. Alitaw. Albert, are you there?
Sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm asking now Calvert Alitaw.
Yeah. Hello, sir. My declarative sentence is, there is significance in dealing with depression in a biblical context.
Malakas. Pwede bang lakasan mo yung boses mo? Pwede bang itutok mo yung microphone?
Hello, sir. Hello.
Hey, hello.
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 Yeah. Ito siya yung akin. There is significance in dealing with depression in a biblical context.
I think there's a problem with your sentence. Kanina, tinanggal na natin yung significance eh.
So,
Albert, what is your main question again? Can you state your main question?
is there any significance in dealing with depression in a biblical context? Yun po yung question ko.
I cannot hear you. I'm sorry. I think there's a problem with your handset. It's not loud enough for me to hear. Go with another. Okay. Sino pa? I think everybody, except Calbert, I cannot hear his voice. Now,
Sir, meron pa po dito, si June and Camille po.
Sino?
Hi sir, good afternoon po. This is June and I'm also with Nara and Camille. I want to share the declarative sentence that I've made up.
Yeah, can you also speak louder?
Yes, sir. Sir. Is it better, sir?
Yes.
Sir, I'm thinking if this declarative sentence is correct. The positive effect of biblical counseling in coping up with the different challenges of post-teenagers are facing.
That's not clear. Can you state again your question first?
Question po is how biblical counseling can be used to cope up with the different challenges post-teenagers face.
All right. So you remove the question mark. You state that into a declarative sentence.
So can I say the effectiveness of biblical counseling in coping up with the different challenges of post-teenagers?
Yeah, but there's no verb. The sentence has a verb.
Sir, can I get back?
An example of a sentence is like this: biblical counseling is effective. There's a verb, there's an is.
Okay po.
Okay, can you follow that example?
Biblical counseling is effective in coping up with the different challenges of post-teenagers are facing.
Or biblical counseling among post-teens.
Post-teenagers.
Is effective. Or something like that. So the exercise is helping you to already concretize in your mind the direction of your argument, the direction of your research, that you are trying to argue what you just stated in the declarative sentence, and you need to support those argument or main claim. So either in doing research, either you start with a thesis or main question. In my style, usually, what I showed a while ago is that I use the main question. I start with the main question. Um, so I ask. Of course, later on, I can turn my main question into argument or claim. But usually, I start with the question. All right. Anyhow, in presenting your thesis, in presenting your research, you have your argument or you have your main question. I think. How about Kamel? Can you also share?
Hi, sir. Can you hear me?
Right? Can you speak louder?
Sorry. Is it better?
Yeah, I think uh, there's a problem with your loudspeaker.
Yes, sir. Is it better?
All right? Can you speak?
So my main
Yeah.
question.
Okay. What's your main question? No, no sound. No sound.
The impact.
Sorry.
Ano,
No. Yan. Nawala.
what are
Yan. Meron. Nawala.
what are what are the impact of
Yes. What are
what
the
are what are the impact of unbeliever parents to their children in the growth of their faith?
all right? Can you turn that into a sentence, declarative?
Positive and negative impact of unbeliever parents to their children in the growth of their faith. There is there is positive and negative impact.
All right, maybe as simple as there are positive and negative impact among parents or uh, children ministry has a positive and negative impact among parents. So you're trying to find out the impact, whether positive or negative among parents. Okay, going back to Colbert. Okay, can you speak again, Colbert? All right, ito yung kay Colbert. Is there any significance in dealing with depression in a biblical context? There is significance in dealing with, I think there's a problem with the word significance here. So, Colbert, you have a problem with the word significance. It doesn't suit your question. So maybe you need to clarify what is in your mind, and then you try to remove the word significance and use other terms. Don't use the word significance. Because if you're going to use the word significance and we substitute it with importance, so is there any importance in dealing with depression in the biblical context?
Yung
and
importance
its
ng
importance in dealing with depression in a biblical context. Uh, of course, it is important. So I think your question should be more of that one than saying that it is important. Of course, it's important. No need to do a research. It's important. You deal with the depression. All right. So maybe you try to think of another question on this topic, depression.
isa kasi ano eh, parang naisip ko lang yun kasi it's, hello sir,
Hello.
yeah. I thought of that question kasi what's happening is uh, yung biblical kasi is as if it's not common or some people think na the best way is or the common way is yung clinical counseling. That's why I thought of that question sir.
Yeah, maybe you need to rephrase the question. Okay. You try to think of another question.
Yeah, okay sir.
Maybe if you like, you try to compare with clinical counseling and biblical counseling if that is the case. If you're thinking of clinical counseling, then why not compare it?
Yes sir, maybe siguro pwede na rin siya siguro. So compare, so parang ang lalabas is a comparative. Parang
Yes.
comparison between
A while ago, biblical counseling is only for the Christians. It's in the church context.
yeah, yes sir.
So if you want to counsel a non-believer using biblical counseling, you need to evangelize that person first. You bring that person to Jesus.
Kasi sa ano eh, parang maraming many Christians still use clinical counseling which parang yun yung marami akong nabasa at na-observe na ganun sir. Yung their way of counseling is mostly of a clinical setting.
Of course, yung biblical counseling as a field kasi is bago. So Christians integrate the Bible with the psychology, clinical counseling. And they have also their arguments. Of course, if you do counseling, I asked Wayne last time, clinical counseling is effective for them, it's okay. Para sa
Yeah, kaya
kanya,
nga sir.
let them do the psychology, pero sa mga non-Christians, okay lang yun kasi natutulungan naman sila, at least. Oo. But for Christians, he prefers this biblical counseling and not the integrationist approach. So maybe you may just want to compare the approach of biblical counseling and integrationist approach in counseling depressed people.
Yeah. Sige sir, I will think of another question.
All right. Hello.
Hello po, si Naapoy po. Ayun po kung ano, gusto ko sana palitan. So yung kanina po, there are causes and cure for spiritual depression. Tapos, gusto ko po sana palitan yung statement, we can overcome spiritual depression as per biblical reference, Psalms 42:11.
All right, we can overcome depression. We can overcome spiritual depression, or spiritual depression can be overcome.
Apo.
Hmm.
Tapos, Bible verse po, Psalms 42:11. Yung, open the Lord.
Yeah.
Sige po.
So, for example, you have now your thesis. You have now your declarative sentence. Uh, it will be good to ask maybe what are my reason and evidence. Reasons and evidence. So you need to be thinking of how you are going to support your declarative sentence with reasons and evidence. We'll be talking also later on about the methodology. But before that, and that maybe that will be in the afternoon, but I want you to have your sub-questions as I posted here. If you want to be question-centered, break down your main question into sub-questions. Example, ask 3 specific questions that support your main question. So again, this is my illustration of a pizza. That before you eat the pizza, you need to divide it first. Right, so let me go with floor. Do you have some questions? Did you break your main question? Okay, this is a tip that I'm going to share. Usually, you're out of this 3 or more or 2 questions that you have, the sub-questions, your last question actually is your main question, stated differently in different sentence. That's why later on, uh, you can have your argument stated, the main argument stated in a declarative sentence, and then you have your sub-questions. And your main question will be your last question in the sub-questions, but stated differently, different wordings, but almost same content. All right. How about the floor? If we can ask her some questions.
Yes, sir. Sub questions. So first is civil partnership purely a legal issue? Second is civil partnership purely a contractual commitment with no religious or sectarian morality involved?
Can you state again the first one?
The first one is civil partnership purely a legal issue?
Yes.
Second is civil partnership purely a contractual commitment with no religious or sectarian morality involved?
All right.
Third is having a civil partnership law in the Philippines for the common good?
Okay. Is having a civil law in the Philippines uh, for the common good. That is your third question. Okay. Uh, Now, I think you have brought up a very interesting question, like is civil union for the common good in the Philippines? But your main question is biblical, is civil union the
And
same
marriage, you say.
with same-sex marriage?
Actually, sir, um, yung marriage, sir, is not limited to same-sex marriage. As I mentioned earlier, the proponents, sir, kasi ng those who advocates for civil partnership law, they are available kasi both to opposite sex and same-sex couples. So, I use the term
Marriage, yes.
marriage as a whole, as not limited to same-sex marriage. So, my main question is marriage and civil partnership the same? So, yung general meaning or yung marriage mismo, sir. Kumbaga, hindi siya limited for same-sex marriage only.
So there are two questions there in the main question. First is, what do you mean by civil union? What do you mean by marriage?
Yes, sir. To compare the two, marriage and civil partnership. So, is marriage and civil partnership the same? So, we need to define marriage as general, not limited to same-sex marriage, and the definition of civil partnership, sir.
Okay, civil partnership, yes. Now, if the common good has come out, maybe that will be your main question or main thing that you would like to pursue, is having um civil partnership law in the Philippines for the common good of the Filipino people.
Actually, sir, kasi may
I think that is a bigger question, like common good.
actually, sir, may idea po kasi, sir, is uh, since nagkakaroon kasi ng issue with regard to the, the term civil partnership, kasi sabi nga nila, for those who are in favor of Civil Partnership Act na pending now before the Congress, civil partnership is not the same with marriage. So in other words, we can legalize civil partnership because it is purely legal issue, it is purely contractual. So wala siyang civil partnership is not really the same with marriage. So in other words, sir, state level lang yung civil partnership.
Yes.
Hindi siya papasok sa marriage talaga. Now, ang idea ko naman, sir, bakit ko naisip yung third question na is having a civil partnership law in the Philippines for the common good, because somehow, not only somehow, but definitely it will affect the not only the biblical concept of marriage, how God designed marriage, but also the traditional concept of marriage here in the Philippines. That's the reason, sir, why my main question is marriage and civil partnership the same?
I think you exchange, maybe you make your main question this in relation to the common good.
Okay, sir.
I think that
So
is a very good question. Civil partnership in the Philippines is having a civil partnership law in the Philippines for the common good.
Okay, sir. So I will change my main question, sir. I mean, do you suggest, sir, that the third sub question should be the main question.
May bahay doon na blue. Sa kanan. Sabihin sila ng
I think your same-sex ano, civil partnership and marriage question will be one of your sub-questions.
Okay, sir. So the third sub question that I mentioned is having a civil partnership law in the Philippines for the common good will be now my main question, sir.
Yeah, so maybe we'll try to design how you go through your sub-questions. Like, okay, so if that is your question is civil partnership, is having a civil partnership law in the Philippines for the common good of the land or of the Philippine people. All right, so is it for common good? I think it's a very good uh, idea. Now, you now try to ask the questions like is civil partnership same with marriage, is civil partnership purely legal, and later on you come up with this last question, is it for the common good? Mhm. Now, as I said a while ago, um, you design at least three questions or four or two. So your last question usually is your main question. So the common good question will be your last question.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So, sir, I will change now my main question.
Yeah, your main question I
Okay,
think
sir.
is for the common good of the Filipino people.
So that will be now my the question, my previous main question is marriage and civil partnership the same will be one of my sub questions.
Yes.
Okay, sir. So I will just formulate, sir, the final or the last question siguro, sir.
Your last question actually is in relation to the common good. You can
Yes,
just
sir.
state it in a different sentence.
Okay, sir. Pag-isip ako po, sir.
All right, okay.
How will I state it differently?
I think that's a very interesting question because it is, we have to think as Filipino people and Christians if this is for the common good or not. All right?
Sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Carl, you're there. Ano yung mga
Yes, sir.
questions mo?
Sir, my questions. Number one, what are the parallels of secular counseling principles and approaches with biblical counseling principles and approaches? Then, next sub question is, how does an online biblical counseling to elementary and high school students who are suffering depression and anxiety therapy? So I'm asking the process. So these are some questions. Then my main question, third sub question is, what makes online biblical counseling uh, to to grade school and high school students who are suffering from depression and anxiety therapeutic? So basically the primary reason for the biblical counseling therapeutic, the main cause for being therapeutic of this approach.
Carl, I think maybe I need to receive your, you post your questions in the chat because it's choppy now. I don't know what happened. You become choppy. So I was
Yes,
able
sir.
to get your questions.
Sir, you think do you need to repeat my sub questions?
Yeah, please send your sub question in the chat box in this uh, Zoom.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
How about James? You have your questions?
Oh, sorry. I was muted. I
All
was
right.
already speaking. Yeah. So my questions are, I don't know if this is right, sir. Di ko alam kung tama, but the first question is, what are the main differences between the pastor's personality over his individual congregants? So basically, the research will be conducted with a more small, probably a more smaller church here in the Philippines. And then in the second question would be, I don't know if this is right, sir. And please, uh, the second question that I've thought of supporting the main research topic is, what is the length of time spent between the pastor and this congregation? Like, was he assigned for a longer time, or um, was he was he the church planter? Was he a second or third pastorate? And then the third is, how intimate is the relationship of the pastor over his congregation? So I don't know if that's right or need to change that.
Your main question is,
The main question is, what are the main differences between the pastor's personality over his individual congregants?
no, no, the main question a while ago, I think, is like, what is the, is there any effect or of the pastor's personality to the personality of the congregation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the main question. That's why I don't know if I'm right in my sub questions and I want to correct it.
All right, so if that is your question about the effect of the, and then you are trying to say that there is effect. Now,
Yes, sir.
if there is effect, um, any basis, any philosophical, psychological, scientific, or biblical uh, evidence that we can see that there is effect.
Oh yeah, sir. There have been studies. There have been studies that are made. I have not yet quoted them because I'm still reading through the materials. But there is not. It is not. It is not a Christian study, but the effect of bosses or managers over their subordinates. There's been significant studies over that, and but I've as I've searched, there was little to no study, or I don't know if there has been. Google is a very big place, so but the effect of the effect of the pastor to the congregants, I have not seen a significant amount of study, but there has been studies of managers or bosses, their characters and personalities affecting
Have
those subordinates.
their methods used. They have their questions used among these bosses.
I see. So you're saying that I should get
But
those same
if there are
questions.
studies, you can just use them as template or example. It will not be difficult
Oh,
because you just try to find out if it is applicable in the church setting.
yes, sir. Yes, I will get back to you on that. So I will. Do you suggest that I search for the questions given by these?
Yeah, yeah. I'm suggesting the way they conducted their study,
Yes, sir.
the bosses and their subordinates. Maybe it's good that you try to apply in the church. So you exactly you just follow, but different context.
So I will just put it in the context of the church, but the question itself, the essence of the question, will remain for the sake of the study
Yes.
being done. Oh yes, sir. Okay po. Yes, sir. I will. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. I
All
will
right.
do that.
Maybe for others, we are going to meet in the afternoon at 2 o'clock, and I wanted to share also. But for this time, I'd like to review what we are talk about that when you do a research, you are asking questions, and then later on you will have your argument, and you have to support your argument. And depending on the way you do your research, you can be focusing in questions or supporting your thesis. And that's why I asked, for example, James, because in this case, it can be that his claim is that his thesis is that there's effect of the personality of the pastor. The personality of the pastor affects the personality of the congregation, and then he can find evidence, maybe first evidence uh, in according to scientific study. Second evidence is you can see that in the Bible, right? Just like in the model of Elijah, Elisha, you can see the model of Jesus Christ, the discipleship model. So you can see in scientific evidence, biblical evidence, and maybe you can do interview, or you can find an example in a practical church. So you can have like three evidence to support your claim. All right. So um, before we close, do you have some questions or clarifications?
Sir, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Yes. What if we decided that the research question that we gave to you today, we wanted to change it for some reason? We found it difficult, or we just found it as we are researching. We just found it that it's not viable, or it's just very difficult, maybe, or very broad. Like for example, my questions, or or Floors or Carl's questions. How when is it still
Yeah,
uh
you can just send me in my messenger that you are changing.
yes, yes, but what is the deadline that we can, it's still okay to change it, or
Maybe up to November 14, 21 is our next meeting, I think, 21.
so that's the final say for for the research idea, sir?
Yes, because like you need to write your introduction, you need to write the body, and then conclusion.
Also, it's yes, sir, it's a very very short thesis
Yes,
in a
it's
sense.
a short research paper. So you can apply it in writing a thesis or writing a short research paper.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Any other question or clarifications or violent reactions? Otherwise, let's call it a lunchtime. I saw already some food there. We are already hungry. All right, let's pray. Lord, thank you for our time together. And thank you for the participation of everyone. We continue to ask that you help us to be good researchers, and we look after Luke and other writers of the Bible who did their research and who preserved their research for our good in our time. And we pray that our research will also be of help for others in the future. Thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. All right.
Amen.
See you
Amen. Thank you,
in the
sir. See you
afternoon tomorrow.
later.
Mm-mm.
Yes, sir.
Thank
See
you,
you.
Ted. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Sir, just in case